Hey, what's good, everybody? Hope you are all well. It's funny because I got the fan blowing that way, but the smoke is coming this way, so I guess that's a good sign, right? The Copal wants to purify the space, so that's pretty cool. Let me see. Let me make a post real quick. I'll get started. Hope you guys are all well. If you're joining me from my other channel, thank you for following me here. I'm slowly starting to move them this way. Yeah, so let me see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna pull a message for today, for Friday, see what comes through. Maybe after I might literally pull just one card. If someone hops in the chat and wants me to pull a card, but it's gonna be literally one card, right? So that'll be it. Let me start off. I started off with the dice yesterday, so let me start off with the dice today. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna re-roll it though because what in the world is even happening here? I don't know. I'll just go. Okay. Wow. Hopefully you all could hear me perfect. All that good stuff. Wow. 22. That was good. Didn't that come up yesterday? 2-2, right? So 2-2 might be significant right now. Maybe you're 22. Maybe you're born on the second or something or the fourth, right? Maybe 222 is significant right now. So take that how it resonates. Maybe that's a sign that this reading is for you. Let me see. I haven't used this deck in a long time. I'll start it off with one of these to see what kind of story we're getting today. So I liked yesterday that's kind of the way it happened, right? I mean, it's usually like that, but I guess since I focused on that, that's kind of what happened. It was a very clear story. So today's story is Shia Pohuali, Solar Calendar, Calendario Solar. Beautiful card. So let's see, man. I should have put the light closer to here because I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to see this. Chiapoquali solar calendar. Let me see. The ancient Mexican calendar is based on the notion of the physical representation of time, which is divine, primordial, imperceptible, and fluid. The solar calendar is the 365-day yearly calendar composed of 18 20-day months with a separate 5-day period at the end of the year called the Nemontemi. Nemontemi. Every 52 years, the solar calendar and the divinatory calendar, the Tonalpohuali, that's what this is, complete a cycle and what? I think it was a typo. And initiate a new one. Okay. Complete a cycle and initiate a new one. When you draw the card for the Shia Pohwali, remember to ground yourself in the daily cycles of the earth and honor your own cycles and those of your community. Wow, that's pretty deep. So maybe it's a time. That made sense, actually. That made perfect sense. So yeah, remember, like for example, we just started the summer solstice, so maybe that meant for you to honor that, right? Honor the ceremonies that are supposed to take place, right? During the summer solstice. Obviously, for me, I always have my own personal um ceremony, right? For the summer solstice, right? Solar solstice, however you want to put it, summer solstice. That's funny that I said so. So, anyways, yeah. So this makes perfect sense. So yeah, maybe that's the message, and maybe that's the message that's gonna come out in the cards today, right? A story of honoring a cycle. That could be honoring a cycle, right? Staying at a job could be considered a cycle. Staying in a relationship could be considered a cycle. So maybe I'm already kind of seeing that from what I know, right? And the way that the universe speaks is that I wouldn't be surprised if that's what comes out in the card, right? Maybe you've complete. Oh, that's what came out yesterday, actually. It was like a story of someone completing a cycle, right? So this is kind of just more confirmation to yesterday's story. Maybe it's more of a collective energy of going through those cycles, right? Honoring that a cycle has come to an end, right? If you were in a relationship that ended, both of you to honor that and walk away, right? Start your new journey, right? If it was a job, start that new journey. If someone passed on to the afterlife, right? Maybe honoring that journey, right? Of grieving the process of that, right? It's funny that, huh? So maybe this has came for you. Wow, and I got kind of a not even a painful pain, just kind of like it feels like for whoever this story is going to be for, it's almost like if you were in an energy of working, right? Toiling away, right? Masculine energy. Working, 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 right? Solar plex is interesting. And this says wishes granted. So maybe now because of that, maybe you are supposed to step into a more receptive energy, right? Look, it's almost like waiting, like, okay, hey, I did all the work. Where's my right sueños que right wishes that come true? Maybe you just had a rest, right? Maybe you worked, 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 and you kind of weren't taking the time to rest, right? And that's kind of what was being asked of you. Sacral chakra, interesting. That's the creative force, right? But see, this isn't asking, wow, I got chills all down my back. I don't think this is asking you to, this is already having done the work, almost like that, waiting for the universe, like trust in the universe, the number nine, something has finished, right? Seven, right? It's almost like you've been doing divine work without knowing it, probably, because it was what you were meant to do, divinely. Maybe you were being divinely guided to work in a certain way. Let's see. Wow, as I split the deck, victory, right? So the six of wands. I always say victory, even though, right, it really is what it kind of, but it's the because there's that V, right? But it's good news, right? Yeah, and then it literally says what I was talking about, resultado de nuestro trabajo, like the the results of hard work, right? It's funny that it was the Queen of Swords too. So again, that kind of feels like there was spiritual work you were doing. You were put in a position on a throne with the work you were doing. Let's see. All right, so that one just hopped up. Action. But it doesn't feel, it feels like something's coming in now, right? Something's coming in faster than you realize. And there's that solar plexus again from the work, from previous work, right? Okay, let me see this story. So from previous work, what is it that's coming in for the collective? What is it about this story? What's coming in for the collective? Hmm, that's interesting. Okay, I got chills with that one. So I feel like something new and beautiful is coming in, but before that, sometimes when things that you cut off from the past see that all of a sudden everything's going good for you, things want to come back in. And that's what I feel here, like holding your ground, standing your ground. There's that seven again, right? So that's almost like that's the divine guidance, right? Solar plexus energy from divinely working, boom, 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 doing what you're supposed to do, being divinely guided to divinely holding your ground, right? And there's that victory again. Having the valor, victory. Wow. Coraje is courage, right? Having the courage, protecting yourself. Wow. Wow. This is, yeah. Because whoever I'm connecting to is very tapped in, right? High priestess, you had a mini death and rebirth, right? You called the truce with whatever, right? You gave up on maybe if you had any kind of anger or anything, you let that go. You called the truce and just went on your merry way, right? And there's that too. Wow, what did I say? The with the dice, it was the 2-2, right? 2-2, and then now here's the two again, right? With the high priestess. So two, right? And 22 is like a master number. So now with the high priestess, it just kind of solidifies what I was saying. So 222, or just the master number 22, right? But with that, you needed to rest to rebalance, right? Something like that. But now because of that, there's a beautiful new connection that's gonna come in, right? You're gonna feel abundant. Maybe that's why 222, right? Partnerships, 222. Happiness, new starts, starting of a relationship, maybe romance, love, feelings, celebrations, socializing. It even says pregnancies and fertility. So be careful if you don't want to get knocked up. And yeah, look at it. Kind of goes perfect because you're someone coming in with an offer, right? Maybe a Scorpio, I don't know. And then here's the star card. Someone that probably sees you as the star you are, right? But you have to be careful of anything from the past trying to come in, right? Let's find out about that, what that is, right? Because clearly the Seven of Wands came out, right? Wow, look at you can't make that up. See, there was as I split the deck, right? There was a choice, but also see someone's over here in a Five of Cups thinking about what they lost out on, right? But a choice was made, and this feels for both of you, right? You made a choice, and they made a choice, right? You made a choice to stay on your divine path, put your head down and keep working. Seven, right? Divinely guided. They must have chose something else, and now they're regretting their choice, right? So let's see what that's about. Wow. Again, see, I hadn't because wow, you're like riding on two white horses. It's crazy. So the sun came out and the victory card, Six of Wands, right? Results from work, triumph, success, victory, fame, celebrity, all the good stuff. Wow, that's amazing. And there's that sun, right? So someone sees you at the as the sun having victory, but if all this is happening during the absence of why would you, right? So you have to hold your ground. That Seven of Wands. That's amazing. This is a super positive read, right? See what else wants to come through. I like this story. Wow, and this came out yesterday too. And now, oh, the High Priestess, even that was kind of the story. Nine, right? Nine of prosperity. You can't make this stuff up. Sacral. So probably a lot of good times in that arena, right? Um Financially too, right? So it's a beautiful energy. And also the Fool, so clearly starting a new journey. It feels like this is a continuation of yesterday's read, right? Or a little more detailed, because yesterday was just kind of talking about more the past, what happened, right? Someone had to almost like you were hmm, like you were someone that brought the tower down on somebody else, right? So it was kind of like both whatever the collective, the higher vibe collective, and then the opposite end, right? Whoever you were dealing with came through in yesterday's reading. So if you haven't seen that one, you're watching this one, go check that out because it's a continuation of the story, right? So on today's episode, right, it's like yeah, now you're on a new journey, right? Now you're on a new journey. Wow. Taking a leap of faith, right? So it was all about a leap of faith, really. It was all about a leap of faith, right? So today seems to be more focused on, like the higher vibe collective. I think yesterday just wanted to establish what had happened. Wow. Very impressive. And as I split the deck, of course, right? Because you can't have the fool, right, without the world. So whole cycle finished, just like I said, right? Honoring that cycle. So how would you honor that cycle if you didn't stand your ground, right? Like if something tries to come back from the past that the cycle completed. Mm, I feel like it was something that affected your feminine energy too, because it almost feels like the same. The way the masculine energy felt from all the work, now it just feels sore. It doesn't feel like, oh, that painful this, but it was something that left the feminine energy like sore, right? Like having to almost like that, right? Like it was almost like at the end it didn't leave you all defeated, but it was like sore, right? So obviously it took some kind of work to fight off whatever was trying to mess with your energy, right? So that's pretty interesting. So okay, let me see. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I think you got something new coming in. Hopefully this isn't that past situation, right? Because you got this feels like a newer energy, right? A new offer, Knight of Cups, now a Knight of Page of Pentacles, right? But this could be work related, maybe a new job offer. Maybe that's part of honoring the cycle too. Maybe there was a work you were doing, but that cycle has finished, right? You did that, so it's fine. Let that be done, and then it's time to start something else, right? Wow, look at underneath what it is, the Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, maybe this new direction you're gonna be going in is gonna be that prosperous direction. Maybe you were just laying the groundwork and for some reason whatever groundwork you were laying down, that's finished. And now it's time to move on to something else. And eventually this new path will be that path that leads you to that Ten of Pentacles if you've been listening to the higher guidance, right? So that's what it feels like. Wow, as I split the deck again, the lovers. So there's definitely definitely new like romantic situations coming in. Wow, and of course, you just have to be careful not to repeat patterns. Either this is that older energy, like someone from the past, or a new energy that's gonna be very similar to that past energy, right? I got the devil and the page of wands, which is the same. It's kind of like because it's attached with the devil, I'm getting that, right? It's someone more like a good, right? Not nothing serious, is looking for a good time, right? And they're very optimistic, right? Maybe they might even be charming, right? With the yellow boots and everything. They might have great energy and you're thinking like, what's the harm in this, right? But it's just for a good time, right? It's nothing serious. So just be careful because clearly, right, there is a solid, um, a more authentic, right, relationship that's a little more emotional, right? That has feelings for you as opposed to someone that might just look at you like attracted, right? Someone that might just be looking at the physical looks, has their wand, male or female. But with this devil energy, yeah, they're just looking to, right? But it's a little more, I heard the word sinister, so probably be careful with that. It's a little more sinister. It's probably someone that wants to have that connection with you, right? Maybe not. They don't want just a one-time thing. They want, but they definitely want. It's more sexual. There really is no depth. Maybe you'll notice there's really not depth to them, right? They really don't have that kind of depth. So you'd notice that, especially if you have this high priestess energy, 100% you're gonna notice that, right? So, trust your intuition. Don't make that mistake, right? Let me see. So on that note, let me get one more from here. Wow. So the dragonfly, yeah. Pay attention, right? And wow, I gotta say it because honorable mention, right? Obviously, the horse came out again. So it was funny that the horse came out twice, right? On the victory card and the sun card. And now here it is again, right? So if they didn't 33, wow. So definitely you're someone that's very tapped in, right? Those are like the ascended masters type number 33, horse spirit, freedom is yours, right? So you've already broken free from something from the past. Please don't re. Oh, and 22. Wow, the 2-2 that had came out. Wow, that is crazy. Truth transcends illusion. Oh my goodness. Okay. I feel like now I gotta make a video on the podcast channel because I need to talk about something that's been happening for me lately, right? So 22, dragonfly spirit, truth transcends illusion, right? So those might be the signs you're getting if you're noticing. Because sometimes, right, I'll be driving on the street and I notice a dragonfly comes right to my window, and I'm like, it's crazy. Like, just there's nothing around, and just one little dragonfly will come right to me, and I'm like, okay, something's trying to get my attention. So these might be some of the signs, or white horses, right? Maybe you'll see some horses running around. They don't have to be white, but just horses running around, right? You'll look over and you'll be like, oh wow, that's interesting. There's a horse there, right? Or the dragonflies, right? So pay attention to that. I think that's how they're gonna be trying to get your attention. And I think on that note, I'll end it there. No one hopped in the comments, for me to pull a card for. So on that note, I'll end it there. Yeah, let me know if this message resonated. I'll try to do an all signs soon on this channel, right? And yeah, on that note, hope you have a great Friday and